Yo, I'm Bob, into Star Wars, happen to be totally blind since birth, talking about Season 1, Episode 2 of The Acolyte on DisneyPlus. This one is Revenge Justice. It premiered alongside Episode 1, Lost Found, on June 4th in 2024. Spoilers ahead. If you haven't watched the episode, you might want to do that, or you're going to get spoiled. However, if you don't mind spoilers, then you do you. That being said, jumping right in, and you were warned. I like this opening scene because we see May getting someone else to do a little bit of her dirty work for her so she can get into the Jedi Temple on Olega. I don't know why I keep thinking of Lego Maego when I think of this planet's name. It makes me want waffles for some reason. But yeah, this isn't the first time we have seen dark side practitioners kind of have folks doing what they want while they wait in the shadows. That tends to happen in the Darth Bane books, the EU novels. It also tends to happen in Darth Plagueis. I really wish we could get more dark side centric books and TV shows. I feel like the Acolyte is just teasing me a bit, because we do get to see a lot of Jedi. But I mean, it does make sense because the lives of the twins, Osha and May, and the Jedi, they're all intertwined in a kind of tapestry, if you will. But you've got her meeting with Master Torben, and she has this one-sided conversation, really wanting him to confront her with all of his strength. But he's not talking, he's not moving, he's just, sitting there peacefully, quietly, as he has for the past 10 years, I think. And she cannot penetrate his force field, no pun intended. And she's just not really getting what she needs to do done. She's got to unalive 4 Jedi. All of them have been to Brendok. She knows them all from 16 years ago. And I remember when this first aired, thinking we might get flashbacks here and there. Episode 3 has just premiered, so spoilers for that if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, we get an entire episode devoted to Brendok and that flashback. And I remember seeing this episode 2 for the first time and wanting intermittent flashbacks, but we didn't get that. We're left with questions after episode 2 ends as to what the Jedi might have done. And she doesn't get the job done here. She has to unalive all 4 of them, one of them without a weapon, as we find out later in the episode. So the Master will be pleased with her. It's a task that this masked individual has given her. And, she doesn't get the job done. We hear folks coming up to Torben's little meditation pad, and she has to leave before she can finish the task. So, I mean, I wasn't thinking we were going to see a repeat of the beginning of episode 1 because, that was kind of a bit too easy for her, I think. It's got to be a bit more difficult for her because it kind of reminds me of a video game. If you're playing as a character in a video game, I think the second skirmish has to be a bit more difficult than the first, although she doesn't have to really fight Torben in this episode. She just she convinces him to do a little something later on in the episode. So we get to see a bit of Osha and Soul reconnecting after she'd been away from the Order for 6 years. We still don't know exactly why she left because, well, we just don't know yet. I kind of wish these episodes would have aired in chunks of 2 because I really liked the first 2, watching them back to back. There was a lot of action in episode 2 because they just find out that there has been trouble on Olega, and they have to go investigate exactly what had happened. And now, Jedi are actually thinking rather than jumping to conclusions because, well, they know that Osha is with them on the ship. So therefore, she couldn't have attempted to unalive Torben. So I like that more than just Soul in our little circle of Jedi. More than just Soul, they're using their heads and they're using a bit more common sense and logic. And I like that the twin theory is up for discussion now because in episode 1 they were bound and determined that, well, Osha was guilty of unaliving Indara. So now, they've got to take a little side trip to Olega. And I love whenever we visit new planets in Star Wars. I mean, we haven't seen Olega yet, unless it's in a comic that I can't read. There are a ton of comics in the new timeline that, well, they're just not accessible. I liked visiting Karlak in the last episode, as well as Ueda. It's always good to see Coruscant again, too. So, I mean, we got a bit of Coruscant action. Well, not a lot of action. Actually, no action, but still fun to see Coruscant in the last episode. The audio description tries to give you a bit of a sense as to what Olega is like, but I think mostly the track focuses on what the characters are doing. So when it comes to, say, how different the scenery is from other planets, we really don't go into that. I wish there could be additional tracks when it comes to audio description, so you could have a bit more of the fight scenes focused on, a bit more of the backgrounds focused on. But I understand that so much has to go into describing the actions, the facial expressions of the characters. So I mean, that's pretty much what the tracks do focus on. And I've liked these tracks so far. I think when it comes to audio description, some shows have it better than others. And I think the team that works on all of the Star Wars audio description narration scripts, they really bring their A game as best they can. So I've been having quite a ball with the Acolyte so far. I like how paranoid Yord is. Don't call him Yord, Bob. I keep calling him Yord. Screen reader's fault. It's all NVDA's fault. But yeah, Yord gets paranoid, and he's like, I don't know. I don't think we should take Osha with us to investigate what's been going on Olega. I think she's in on it with her twin sister. And I like how Soul, he's still the voice of reason. He's like, look, you're letting your fear dictate your actions here. Just chill, guy. Well, he doesn't say that, but that's kind of what I imagine him wanting to say. It's like, you're too tense, Yord. Just kind of ease on back a little bit, dude. And I think Jackie might be just a bit less tense than Yord. She apparently, it doesn't really, I don't know, I get the sense that he grates on her nerves a little bit. Cause like in the last episode when they're fixing to leave Coruscant, she's kind of like, I don't know, why do we have to take this guy? Because he's Yord, and he walks around in his quarters without a shirt on, and it's weird. I don't know what her deal is with him, but that one scene in episode 1 kind of cracked me up. But I like here in episode 2 where Soul is trying to get Yor to get his head out of we'll say his head out of Cloud City, because I'm trying to keep this video PG. So when we meet Kamir in this episode, right away I got a pretty bad feeling about the character. It's probably just me overthinking things, but he seems a little too eager to please, a little too innocent. Because, May goes into that shop and, she's already failed to kill Torben once, and now she needs him to make her a poison. So she throws a mug, wakes him up, and, he seems a little too befuddled, charmingly befuddled. He's like, "Hey, May, what's going on? Did you unalive the guy? Well, tell me all about it. What's going on?" I'm like, you seem a little. I don't know. To me, he's like, "Well, don't mind me. I'm totally not somebody behind the scenes plotting to maybe take your place and be the master's true acolyte. No, I have no ulterior motives. Dum 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 dum. I'm just gonna help you out here." Yeah, he seems kind of iffy. I don't know. Maybe he's everything that he appears to be. I don't know. I don't like this guy. I love Manny Jacinto as an actor. I like how he kind of comes off as this. Well, to me, he seems like kind of a slob of a gun runner. He's asleep in the shop, and but when you listen to this guy talk, and when they get into that conversation about Torben and about how he thinks he needs peace, and then you have Kamir quoting a part of the Sith code, and that peace is a lie. So that kind of let me know, even before the show had aired, that okay, this guy, he's not doing a very good job at putting on the innocent front here. I am prepared to face the reality that he could be a red herring. I'm like I said, only 3 episodes of the show have aired. I don't know. He's probably up to do something dastardly before the 8 episodes are done airing. But I like how he's mixing up the poisons as they're talking about how the Jedi delude themselves into thinking that they're in the right. I mean, it's basically what every Darksider ever thinks concerning the Jedi. Oh, the Jedi are arrogant. They don't know anything. We know what's best for the galaxy, and it's kind of more of this with May and Kamir. But I love scenes like this because you get to see a bit of the antagonists working behind the scenes, and I feel like just kind of being a fly on the wall and listening to their philosophy. It's kind of fun. So I really enjoy scenes like this in TV shows like The Acolyte, as well as entire novels based around dark side characters. I think they're fascinating. You learn what not to do in terms of how to lead a good life when it comes to observing these characters, how they tend to backstab each other in the blink of an eye. And I think, well, at least I'm reasonably certain that's what Kamir has got his eye on right now anyway. Things might change as the show progresses. Who knows? But I like this scene. It's one of my favorites in the episode. Because I am just not buying his goofy, innocent act here at all. So yeah, he grounds up some bunta in the little poison mixture and hands that to her. And this is where we find out that yeah, she's got to kill 4 Jedi. One she needs to kill with no weapon, so the Master will be pleased. I've kind of gone back and forth as to whether or not the Master is a Sith. I know folks online are saying that this could be a different sect entirely, like because there are other folks who do follow the dark side than just the Sith. But I mean, I think it probably is the Sith. We know that there's always a Master. In the EU timeline, for a long time, though, you would see Sith with several dark acolytes. And that's something that Palpatine understandably frowned upon especially around the Clone Wars when he chastised Dooku for becoming a little too attached to Ventress. He wanted her eliminated when he found out how powerful she was becoming. So I think when it comes to being a Sith, though, Sith tend to get their acolytes squabbling, and I think whoever tends to come out on top, Mr. or Miss Sith Lord, is going to be very pleased. They get to sit back, they get to watch them compete with each other. I don't know if this particular Sith is looking for an apprentice or what. It almost seems like Khmer is secretly vying for position with May. Some people think that he is an actual Sith. I kind of hope he doesn't turn out to be Plagueis or Tenebrous. I would hope that Tenebrous and Plagueis stay Bith and Mune, respectively. I just hope, Plagueis isn't going to turn out to be some guy. I like the idea that Plagueis is immune. I think he had a lot more influence as Higo Damask. All of his holdings, everything that he was able to put in place with his finances over the years. By the time he had Palpatine become his apprentice in the expanded universe novel, it would really be interesting if Plagueis was still immune. That's just me kind of chasing a bit of a rabbit here in terms of Sith Lords, because as I said in another video, we don't even know how old Plagueis is here in this particular timeline. He doesn't appear to have a birthday. We just know that he is unalived. I think around 30 to 32 years before the Battle of Yavin. Here, we don't know when he was actually born, so he could be a lot older. He could be far older here. Could still be immune. Then again, he could be something else entirely. We don't really know, because this is kind of uncharted territory here. But I like not knowing what's going on. I still got my expanded universe stuff that I tend to read a lot, but I do love a good Sith yarn. So I've really been enjoying the show quite a bit. The first 3 episodes. So we have Sol and Osha, and a scene that really resonated with me was, well, we don't really find out exactly why Osha left the Order, but it's apparent that both Master and former Padawan are blaming themselves for what happened. I like how both of them admit that they have flaws. You have Osha, who says, well, I might not have been as good of a student as I should have been, and you have Sol, who says, well, I might not have been as good of a teacher. And it's a really touching scene between the two, and I really like that moment between the two. I think, as I said in the previous video, I think Sol is quite a bit like Qui-Gon. He's got a bit more heart than other Jedi. And I know that there are probably Jedi that frown upon that. We know that Jackie didn't really look too kindly on him keeping old hollows of his former Padawan in the last episode. She just starts spouting Jedi dogma about how attachment leads to, this, that, and the other. I mean, we've heard it numerous times before. It's something that's drilled into Jedi from, when they're very, very young. But for some reason it didn't take with Sol here. And I like how he mentions in that same episode, well, if we don't learn from our past, if we don't remember what we did wrong and learn from it, we're just going to keep doing the same things over and over again. And I like that he admits he needs to grow. He needs to learn, that you basically never stop growing and learning as a person. Whereas you have other Jedi just so friggin' sure of themselves. And I mean, I guess that is both a good thing and a bad thing, because you don't really have room to learn new things if you are that way. The scene where May heads back into the temple and finishes Torben really got me thinking the first time I watched it. And I'm still thinking that there is more to the Brandok mission than we know, even though the third episode has aired and we got an entire flashback of that episode. Because Torben is apparently so guilt-ridden over what happened that he just, when May tells him, you face your past. You either confess to the council or take the poison. And Torben asks her for forgiveness before he drinks the poison. And I feel like there's more to the story than we know. I don't know exactly what happened yet, or maybe that's it. Maybe fans like me are overthinking what exactly happened on Brendok. Maybe we got it in episode 3, which we're going to be talking about next time. Maybe we got it in that episode long flashback there. I tend to think that we have a little bit more to see, though. But yeah, he's down for the count. So 2 down for May and 2 to go. You've got Osha, who poses as May, because now, well, everyone knows that May is alive. You've got a couple of Jedi showing up after Torben was unalived, and they immediately blame Osha for it because, hey, she looks exactly like the character we're after, so yeah, we're not going to ask any questions. You done it, but Yord vouches for her. She just run off because she's seen another vision, and so everyone is now siding with her. They're pretty sure that May is alive. So I like that Osha's name has been cleared within the first 2 episodes. I was thinking she was going to go throughout the majority of these 8 episodes having to clear her name, and I didn't do it, yada yada yada. But now you have the Jedi siding with her, so. And now she's got to pose as her sister. I like the scene where she heads into the shop and she's talking with Kamir, and it's a very awkward, very tense situation. But I like the little bit of comedy that these two put into it. I love the chemistry between Amandla Stenberg and Manny Jacinto. Sorry. It was a pretty interesting scene, and of course he knows pretty soon that that's not May. That is in fact Osha, and yeah, he I still think he's up to something. Okay. So during the conversation with Osha and Kamir, everyone who's been listening in via the probe, finds out that someone is training May. And when this happened, right away I was thinking, okay, so is everyone going to bite the dust before the end of the first season? Because if this is a Sith who's been training May, that can't get back to the council, because by events of episode 1, most of them think the Sith have been extinct for a millennium, or so I'm not really sure who's gonna live and who ain't. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if everyone went down before the end of the season. I don't know that for sure, but that's kind of what I was thinking when, the the cat was kind of out of the bag there in that particular scene. You've got Kamir, who claims he's a gun runner and says he worked for the Huts and all that. I don't know. I'm not buying anything he says. As I said earlier, I think he comes off as a bit too eager to please, a bit too innocent, and I'm just not buying that act at all. So I like the ambush that they've set up for May. I like that scene with Osha and Sol. He doesn't really want her involved because he's afraid that, even though she says she wants justice, when she actually wants revenge, and he doesn't want to lose her to the dark side. So I was reminded of that one scene in Revenge of the Sith where they have Anakin stay behind when they go confront Palpatine. Thought about that as they kind of let Osha stay behind there. The fight scene with May and Sol, love that, because once again you don't see very much in the way of lightsaber action at all. This is more hand-to-hand combat. I like that May isn't even using a lightsaber. She just relies on her fighting style. She relies on her daggers, her new supply of daggers. Man, she must have a ton of those stored away somewhere. But then you have Sol, who manages to get behind her. He snags all of her knives. And there's one little bit of dialogue that made me think. He says something along the lines of, your master has gone to such great lengths to conceal their identity, even from you. And that kind of got me thinking, well, what have they... what has this particular individual done? Has this person possibly messed with May's head? We have Kamir earlier begging not to have his mind wiped. Maybe this individual can, in fact, manipulate memories. I have no idea as to what's going on with May's head. I don't know if she's also been messed with upstairs or not. And I guess May was prepared to end Sol because he's one of the 4 Jedi that she has to unalive. But Sol reveals to her, hey, your sister's still alive. And this appears to be, I say appears because, appearances are deceiving. It appears to be the chink in May's armor. Because I think finding out that her sister is still alive, it does serve to kind of have her lowering her guard a little bit. It's distracting her because this is a tie to May's past. And in spite of that fact, though, she does manage to evade Sol. But you have Osha overhearing everything, and she feels like she has to go and confront her sister. So I like the scene where you have Amandla Stenberg doing double duty. She's playing both of these twins here, and you have them, reunited after so many years. And you have Osha, who attempts to stun May, but May, of course, gets away. And I think one of my favorite scenes in the episode is the one toward the end, because you have May up, she's confronted by Kamir, and he manages to somehow restrain her in spite of the fact that she is, crazy good with those daggers and her particular fighting style. But he manages to subdue her, pin her against the wall. And he's like, well, I know I messed up, but I can make amends. And, I know where the Wookiee is. We're gonna go to Kafar, and that's where he is. So you can take him out. And so she leaves with with Kamir. And I like the ending scene too because we get to see a Wookiee Jedi on screen, and they're very rare. The last time I remember reading about Wookiee Jedi, well, before Buriaga in the High Republic, was when I was a kid reading Young Jedi Knights or having a few of the books narrated to me by my folks. We had a Jedi named Lobaka. He was Chewbacca's nephew. So, this really takes me back to the Young Jedi Knights books. And those are amazing books, by the way. I love a lot of the action scenes in those. Some great lightsaber duels and battles and stuff like that. But yeah, when we got to see Kelnaka here on screen, I immediately flashed back to the late 90s and learning about Chewbacca's nephew, Lobaka. So yeah, you have him scaring off some scavengers. I don't know what he said to them. Probably something along the lines of, hey, you see this blaster and what I did to it? I could do the same to your arms. So they kind of run off. He seems like this curmudgeon-y Jedi, just trying to, have some peace of mind. And here come these idiots trying to steal parts from his ship. So it's an interesting end scene. But next time we're going to be talking about Destiny, which is episode 3. And I'll tell you right now, I like the episode, but I think I like these two a bit better. That doesn't mean that, I don't like episode 3, but I think there are things in the first two that I really like. I will talk about what I did like about the third episode next time, though. I think I give episodes 1 and 2 9.5 out of 10. I had a good time with these two. I like that they aired them together. I think we got a lot of action when you watch them back to back, and I think they were very fast paced. Anyway, next time we're going to be talking about Destiny, so be here for that and some very witchy goings on. Until then, may the Force be with you.